Get in there, slowly. Oh, it says we're live. There we are. Hello, good evening. It's Sunday night, it's 8 o'clock. It's time for some Doctor Who. And tonight we are doing Doctor Who Daleks Invasion of Earth 2150 AD, the other Peter Cushin film. Whoop, there's the echo again. It's typical.
It's not me this time.
Yeah, it's a standard procedure to cock things up at the beginning. It's becoming tradition almost.
I'm not this week.
Yeah. Oh, so how are you doing, Chris?
Pardon?
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, mate. You?
Yeah, doing really good. Do you know, last week we done the Doctor Who and the Daleks with Peter Cushin, and this week we're doing the Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150 AD. Next week, I've got a feeling that next week I fancy doing another classic Doctor. So I was thinking, how do you feel about John Pertwee, Doctor Who and the Sea Devils?
Oh, yeah, that's all right with me.
Yeah, so I think that's what we'll do because we decided this on a week by week basis. So yeah, I think next week we'll do Doctor Who and the Sea Devils. So that'll be next Sunday at 8 p.m. UK time. If you want to join us, there's a link in the description down below that'll link you to the Hangout. Also, you can join us in the chat in YouTube as well. So, yeah, last week we done Doctor Who and the Daleks. This week we're doing the 2150 AD. From my personal take on this film, this is my favourite of the two. Of the both Peter Cushin films, this one's the better one. And I've got to be honest, I think if we're talking about this particular story, this is an hour and 24 minutes long. It's much shorter than the William Hartnell version. I think it strikes all the right notes, but I think I think this is paced better than the William Hartnell show as well. I do like the William Hartnell show because I like how I do like a slow-moving sci-fi, but I like a slow-moving sci-fi that's able to touch different areas. That doesn't stick following one person. And in the original Daleks Invasion of Earth, it does that. It moves around. It doesn't just stick with the Doctor. It goes to the Doctor, the companions, the rebels. It moves around a bit, and it makes for a very entertaining show. But I think what this film does better is that it cuts out all the unnecessary stuff. Not necessarily unnecessary, but it just makes it pace a little better, and it makes for a little bit more of an action-packed show. I forgot to mention last week as well, I really do like the TARDIS in this. I don't believe I mentioned it last week, but the exterior TARDIS that they use in these films, I think, is my favourite, I think.
I wish you'd have said that.
I don't think I mentioned it. I don't think I did.
No, not at all.
Which is a bit of a surprise. But we're going to see as well here, and Ian's joining us. Hello, Ian. I better actually move the chat over so I can actually see what's going on. Let's put that on. Yeah, there we go. So I've now got chat everywhere. Chat all over the place. Yeah, so in this as well, Peter Cushin is joined by Bernard Cribbins, who should be Sir Bernard Cribbins, let's be honest. It should be. The man's done everything.
He should be, yeah. If I remember when he was in the new series as Wilfred Mott.
Yeah.
And I thought, for anyone that's no longer got a granddad, they should all adopt Bernard Cribbins. Oh
man, the thing is, he was such a good companion as well. Wilf was, how can I put it? He was such an open-minded, for a person of his age, to be this sort of still filled with wonder. And then he had this, he was encouraging Donna to go with the Doctor, go have a life, go enjoy yourself, go see the universe. And he was a great companion to the Doctor. He really was. And in the last episode going off, where the Doctor regenerates, I mean, it was heartbreaking as well, So but he had there's a look in Bernard Cribbins' eyes when he was looking at the Master. There was this great bit of contempt. I mean, in that Bernard Cribbins, surely a master of his art. He's done everything. He's played everything. He's played builders, painters, soldiers, the hotel inspectors, the Wombles. He's done, and of course, Bernard Cribbins is the reason why we got the saying "right said Fred." So right said Fred, both of us together, one each end, and steady as you go. Yes, brilliant. Oh my word.
I wasn't expecting a voice from the valleys.
Well, I mean, but again, you've got to love Bernard Cribbins. You really do. He's a great, and he is such a sharp-witted guy as well. If you've ever seen him on the panel shows, I mean, I still remember him from Nevermind the Buzzcocks, and he put everybody down. I mean, you just cut them all down, and for him to go from where he was in his career to touching into a fandom that then gave back as well. I mean, it's completely unexpected, but at his stage in his career, to be able to to go to conventions and stuff like that and just feel it from the fans, I think it's just wonderful. But yeah, I mean, he's Bernard Cribbins, he's OBE. There's a little joke that's going to be coming out later as well when we get to the end of this film, actually. So I don't know if you've got anything that you'd like to add before we make a start.
Well, I'm pretty much going into this fairly blind because I haven't seen this probably 20, 25 years, and I've only ever seen it the once. I've got it on DVD, and I've never. It's an unplayed disc. So okay, so since you haven't seen this for a long time, I'm glad you actually, because I think there are things that you're going to see in this that you're going to be surprised at. First of all, you're probably the color is going to stand out as well, because it plays very similarly to the Hartnell version. It's based off the same story. They have once again made little changes to the storyline to just sort of fill in. So, like, obviously with the Hartnell version, we just follow on from the previous serial. Whereas with this is telling a brand new self-contained story. So they've trimmed it and changed the episode out in little places to allow for that, to bring in these alternate characters. And I think it does a really good job of it. And like I said, if it weren't for the fact that the Hartnell one was in black and white, I would probably choose the Hartnell one as a superior version of this. But because this is in colour and it's well paced, I think this is better. I do love, I love the storytelling in the Hartnell version, but I do think that from a pacing point of view, I think this one moves along better. Like I said, this is an hour and 24 minutes. It's not the sort of, what was it, 2 hours something that the Hartnell version plays out at. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just the fact that I just think this. It doesn't necessarily handle the characters better, but there's not really time to get bored, if you know what I mean. So the only thing I really remember about it is that the interior of the TARDIS is a bit more TARDIS-y.
Well, the other thing that they should remember about this is that the whole David Tennant meets Stavros plot, where he mentions about somebody trying to steal the Earth. That's the story.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's what we're about to watch. Is the Daleks trying to steal the Earth? So that's a nice little tie-in. I mean, this was in the original version of it as well, but it's a good little Doctor Who moment, I think. Shall we crack on?
Yeah, we'll crack on. I will disappear. One of me will disappear out of this chat because I've got I'll have it full screen, so I might as well shut that until afterwards. Otherwise, when I turn the sound up, I'm going to have Doctor Who and you in the background. That's going to cause no end of issues.
No problem. So let's begin, shall we? And I'm going to press play. Oh God! No, here's the thing. This is I'm doing this over my smart TV over Amazon Prime. So, because I didn't buy it on Blu-ray, I decided that I was going to get the digitally restored version from Amazon Prime. I just can keep it in my digital library. So it's going to take some time to buffer. Here we go. Ooh. Buffering. Still buffering. Buffering the Vampire Slayer in. This is doing something. Oh, there's a little white circle. It's doing it. Hey, there we go. Another Studio Anal symbol. No, there was something. I was going to mention something about the actual studio, because the studio, this is advertised as, I believe it's ARR. Interesting opening. Totally different to the TV version. This is all on the back lot of Shepparton, by the way. This is none of this is real location. There he is, Wilfred Mott from the alternate reality. See how my theory works? It still works. His parents died before he got the name. He was adopted. No, it's not that. There we go. So where's we? Good opener. Start with a bang. Literally. Die Hard with a Vengeance started exactly the same way.
All else fails, lob your truncheon at it.
Yeah, but there we go. He didn't have a whistle.
I'd say that's a good looking box, Carwin.
Where were we looking? Oh, that one. No, I was going to mention this last week. I really like the design of this police box. I did mention it. Roberto Tovi, somebody else. Yeah, but clearly he's done work to it, because from the last film, this is a TARDIS that he's worked on. It's still not that big on the inside. It's much bigger, but it's still not that big.
The TARDIS has changed that much. Surely he should have regenerated.
Yeah, he would, but he can't. Yeah, AARU. Bit more time vortexy look to the starter as well. I've got to be honest with you, right? This is absolutely genuine. I have no good god idea how they did this. None at all. Like, some of these effects I can understand how they're done, but others, I mean, they're dealing with smoke and vapor and water and liquids, but that the opening one where it's just through the center, not a clue how they did it. Not a clue. This is just a tank, and they're just chucking bits of dye in it at the moment, and they've got a whisk in the bottom. It's literally just a motorized whisk. And some of these are just like plug holes as well. They're just a tube with a vacuum pump on it. Amazing what you can do with a computer, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think of this music? Because compared to last week's music, this is a different theme. This is a bit more upbeat adventure.
Yeah, last week's one was a bit Star Trek space hippie music, was it? Come on, Spock, you know that lot.
Yeah. It's still not very what we used to for a Doctor Who theme. But given that, imagine, take yourself out of that they've never made Doctor Who before. As a theme, it's not bad.
I see you want to know if I'm right. Mark the 31st now, can I use your telephone? Good. I have taken can't use the telephone. One thing we haven't got one. And even if we had, I don't think it would do any good. Not in 2150 AD. That's
yeah, it is a much better looking TARDIS by comparison to the previous one. It isn't. It's still not what we would think of as a TARDIS. The door's open, by the way. People might have missed that, but yeah, the door's off the latch.
Stands out like a Starbucks cup.
But again, it's still one of those elements that they use today. This had an influence on today's show. Now, compare that to the matte paintings that we had last week. This is brilliant. I mean, even this is good all round. Now, you've got bits of matte painting in this shot here. Like, for example, over on the left-hand side of the broken building, you've got the, well, I believe it's supposed to be St. Paul's Cathedral. No, then, Sugar Puffs. You're going to see a lot of product placement in this. But then again, I think it just makes it more real world. I think it just makes it a little bit more natural to have, because we get adverts like that on bus stops and on signs and things.
Yeah, it does. It does lend a reality to the world they're stood in.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd. There's 2150 and they're still making Sugar Puffs, but I'm okay.
Sugar Puffs making piss smell funny for 200 years.
God, the honey monster must be looking old.
Just as times we had this often.
Yeah, this is all. Yeah, as much as they did a good job with the Thal Mascara and the Thal Forest in the last one, they did a much better job with the London exterior with the stage in this one. Again, it is close to how they did it in the hardcore version. It's just a little bit bigger. It's more real. I believe that's actually a warehouse at Shepperton. One of the stage houses. Dun dun dun! A boat. They look a little bit better than the hardcore version as well. I know it's only a helmet, but it makes such an improvement over the whole sort of metal sort of thing with a dish. Yeah, so what they do really well here as well is the lighting, because all of this is shot on a stage. And getting daylight to look like daylight from an internal is really difficult. It's not easy at all. Even modern films don't get it right. And yet this does look like it's sort of on an overcast day. Later on, we're going to see Bernard Cribbins wearing one of those. And what's good with it is that when he puts it on, he never quite puts it on straight. It's always cocked over. What's on the boxes there? Is it that there's something on the box? I can't read it.
No, it's upside down, isn't it?
I know there's a couple of bits of product placement in this film that they deliberately. Well, I mean, they had to put in because it was what paid for the film. So that there is a stuntman named Eddie Powell, I think it is. It's either Eddie or Joe, his brother. And on this film, he broke his ankle doing one of the stunts, and he carried on doing stunt work straight away. He came back from the hospital and carried on working.
Good man.
But you see, I think you'll see the stunt later on. He sort of goes all out and goes through an awning. It's great. It's quite a good bump. There it is, the Dalek Invasion spaceship. I'm not sure what I think of that Dalek design. As a piece of retro 60s, I think it's okay. I think it's got way too many wires on it. I have no idea how big that model is, by the way. I have not a clue. I know it was later used in another show. Let's see if I can find it. It was used in not Quartermaster in a bit. That's way too far. The Body Stealers, 1969. It's not bad. Nice lighting effects on it.
I'd be happy if I'd made that.
I mean, the exterior panel of the ship is a little bit plain, but that's okay. But as a visual effect shot, it's not bad. There've been plenty that have done worse. Again, we're not that far into this film already, and we've already sort of done the whole time travel bit. We've done the whole landing in the future. You know, the Daleks are showing up. Yeah, there's some Del Monte.
No, it's too dangerous. I'll try.
Yeah, Peter Cushin said he would only ever do this film provided that Roberta Toby carried on playing Susan, because he said he had a good rapport with her from the first film. And the budget on this film was an extra 100,000 than the first one. There we go. Look at the speed that the Dalek is coming out of water. That's good. That's coming out of some really not ours.
Sounds more like a real Dalek as well.
Yeah. The voices sound better in this. But I guess they had experience now. They knew what a Dalek's supposed to sound like, so. Where am I looking here? Just looking at some cast members, because it's got quite a decent cast. Yeah, they got the voices right now, the lights will flash. No, the Daleks actually look more like your regular Daleks. They're missing the bands going on in the middle now, and they've got the slats on with the grill. But they still got the chunky base. I mean, I think the chunky base works better for a movie Dalek anyway, because they can put larger wheels in it, so it's easier to transverse external terrain. No required to just run around on boards.
Came down the boat, eh? Lying for the coast. You couldn't get through to that one, huh? Well, we can use you. You'll be safe here.
Oh, chicken's done. So get Ray Brooks, plays David, and Kia. So it's got a bad cast. It's pretty much everybody, sort of your regular working cast from the 60s.
So you can't go out there. You're safe here.
What about the others outside?
No, stop worrying. They're certainly all right.
But it's my grandfather.
Well, it's not good. The streets are crawling with Danny. What's this? Oh, there's another truth about there.
This is kind of like sort of the downbeat sort of version of the Future Wars from Terminator, right? They're making bombs and guns and get ready to fight the invaders and. He's not exactly John Connor, but I mean, in terms of Doctor Who, if last week was sort of the Wizard of Oz, this week is more the War of the Worlds.
Wheels turning full circle. Our day's coming.
I don't think it's a bad crack at it either.
It was just too late. They were both captured and taken by the crime sources.
But they don't.
Get another matte painting shot, and it's not bad either. I mean, you've got to put into context of when this was made, and the budget of the film, and the amount of time it took to make this film. That's really, it's not awful.
It's better than the one from last week, anyway.
Look, there are many films. I mean, what year was this? 1969.
I think this was 66, wasn't it?
A
year later.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, 1966, yeah. So again, even then it's not the best way to get away. I'm gonna scale a dilapidated building. No, here he goes. He's about to break his ankle. We'll go for this. Look at that for a bum. Fair play. I mean, that was a good bang. And these days they wouldn't even shoot it like that because it's too wide angle. They would have done a close up, cut, make it a little bit more intense. Let's get a little bit closer on the action. Shoot it from multiple angles, cut those together to make it look more. And this you didn't need it. It looked like a bad bum.
How long will the soldiers stay on the front?
Till they've got enough prisoners to take to the mine, I suppose.
Can I take them off the line?
Yes, of course. Well, look, I've never been inside.
Can you give me a time check, please? Yes, I can, I hope. I'm currently at 20 minutes 37, 20 minutes 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 50, 51, 52, 3, 54, I don't know what comes next. I hope that helps you. The sets for the Dark Ship look a little bit better than the hotel that we were treated to last week as well. There's not all that. Well, I mean, as far as I can tell, it was a pinkish, coppery colour with an odd layout with art structures everywhere, and as I could call it, the inside of a quality street wrapper.
What's the idea? These doors are closed by magnetics. All we have to do is to break them to holes. Is that all? Yes, here. We have to force our code in. Here.
And that was very easy. Yeah, I like the fact that the eye is lit. Yeah, the hotel with the lava lamps. Yeah, you're not wrong. It is. It's a much superior set, this one. They've gone for a much more sedated, sterile looking thing. It's a bit more pastel in colours. But I think you'll find that with a lot of this film, that it's a lot. Gordon Fleming, who directed this film, chose a lot of pastel colours for everything. I think Roberta Toby there wearing the red dress is probably the brightest colour in the show. You put it in a big truck, you crash it, you put it in the tailpipe, it blows up, one comes out, it burns down, then it comes back up with just an exoskeleton, and then you shove it inside and it blows up. And then you crush it in a hydraulic press. I don't know how effective they are as props, because as far as I can tell, they're just essentially motorcycle helmets with a radio stuck to the side. But there is something about having the sort of the gold eyes obscure, so you can't really see that much of an expression on them. It does look like a Pet Shop Boys video. I will give it that. Doesn't it? They want to sing go
There's
west.
only that much.
I wish they did put a little bit more thought into Dalek controls as well. Because I still don't like the fact that these computers still got switches. I know these ones they've abandoned the plungers here for these little claws, which I don't mind actually. I don't mind not having the plungers. Those phone booth things were everywhere, weren't they? These fiberglass domes. Like they were using everything.
Especially hairdressers.
They were used. I mean, it's a great reuse of props.
We're taking the prisoners.
Now again, look at the lighting on this, right? This is interior Shepperton studio set, right? Somebody decided to light this so well that it's almost single source. It's really nice. Whoever done that knew what they were doing. Bye. It's a bit too easy to take out a Dalek, isn't it? Like, I get the whole, sliding down the ramp thing, but why does it explode when it falls over? I'm not sure that this dramatic 60s music works for it. I mean, you've got to look at what films are out there about the time. You'd already had Dr. No and From Russia with Love. And I'm not sure this falls into a very similar sort of camp. It does feel like a very sort of Irwin Allen. It feels like a very Irwin Allen serial music. Why does a Dalek ship have a cupboard? And why does the cupboard have a handle on it? It's interesting the way that they've structured these fights. They brought a whipping crew. it looks like the stunt team had a lot of fun on this.
Oh dear, a brick to the head.
Yeah, that'll work every time. Sex to you. That the backdrop shot there doesn't really work. They shouldn't have stuck with that. Put a bit of smoke on the stage, damn it. Still, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, you run, mate.
It was more of a hobble.
Yeah. I think that's because one of the darts was supposed to have caught him. No then, if I've got my bearings right with this being Shepparton and this being the back lot, I've got a feeling that the studio up behind, where am I looking? So just behind the Daleks there, you'll see like a little red brick studio, and that I believe is where all the models for Space 1999 were made. It's a good thing they got those fire extinguishers. No, in fairness to this production, right? So there's, pretty much one big set, which is the London set. You've got a Dalek spaceship. Now the Dalek spaceship set, the internal part with the ramp and all that is all in one place. It's all one set. So this part here, like where Peter Cushin is walking down, this is all on the London set stage. So the fact that they've lit this, and they would never do that today. It's very, like, even when they done, I mean, the closest thing that I can think that they even come closer to it was when they done the Force Awakens, where they had the Millennium Falcon built on the thing. But even then, all the internal shots were done on a stage somewhere, Whereas this,
There'd be a whole lot of green screen as well now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, like, yeah, this part here, where they're inside the ship now, is on a separate stage. But the whole bit whereby you've got all the ramp and everything, and all the corridors leading off, that's all shot in one. Going straight, you come off there, you walk straight down there, you walk straight on onto the London Street, what's supposed to be the London Street, which is still inside the studio. Good bit of timing from Peter Cushin. Like he's trying to follow what they're doing. Science fiction food. It's a colourful gelatin blob on a paper plate. At what point did paper plates become science fiction-y? What you'll notice about this shot as well is that it was all done in one. There hasn't been an edit. Since
How
he
they all
put that
kept
helmet
straight
on,
faces, never know.
yeah, since he put that helmet on, there hasn't been a cut. That's old timey stage acting, rehearsing, get it right, get it down, go for the shot.
No, I'm all right.
Just a flesh wound. Jelly tots, yeah. Surprisingly, they were probably jelly babies. They were worked up by the ex-Terminators.
We managed to business. This man had this. The bones were no good. He didn't have a chance. Got to go out and resist. We must. You can't fight metal with flesh and blood.
Yes, that's absolutely true, you can't. I watched, there was a film on earlier, I went up my mother's to paint the back of her house for her. And she had a film on with Tel Savalas, and they were blowing up tanks by pouring petrol on them and setting them on fire. And I'm just going, I call bullshit. So yeah. So Jill Curzon plays the character called Louise. I don't recall Louise being a thing. I know that they changed Bernard Cribbin's character's name to Tom Campbell because there was like David Campbell was part of the show or something, and they give him the name, which is why David doesn't have a last name in this. Oh, go away. Jeffrey Cheshire plays Robo Man. He's like RoboCop, but he doesn't cop.
Hasn't got a truncheon.
So interesting titles that they've given people here for some of the cast list, like Peter Reynolds, Man on Bicycle. Bernard Spear, Man with Carrier Bag. Is the best they could do. Yeah, it's. She doesn't. I have no fix on that character whatsoever. Like, I don't know who she's supposed to be, what she's supposed to be.
Well, it says this is in the Wikipedia page. It says that's his niece, Louise.
Yeah, but it did with like Ian and Barbara and that, we knew that they were school teachers, and you can actually see the guy's shadow there loading them on. I want one of those. Yeah, there's no explanation as to where Barbara's gone.
Susan was here, you say? And Louise? Yes. You should have made them stay. Listen, you should have made them busy. All right. This may give us some idea of where they've gone.
Yeah, oh, the kid wrote a massive note that she wrote on the door.
On a lit wall.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see it being the logic that you'd have to use the door to get in and out. But most people would normally write it on a notepad and put it on like a notice board or something. I think he's wearing the same costume that he wore in the last film. It appears to be. I don't think that if there's any changes, it's a subtle one. Tell you rating him a little kid as well, because I haven't got rating like that. There you go, nice little matte shot with a model. And a real sky as well. It is a shame about the wires there, the visibility of the wires. I mean, it's been digitally remastered, so they could have taken them out. It wouldn't have taken much.
It would have upset a purist somewhere, mate. You know that.
I think wire removal is okay. I think that's fine. Wanking about with the effects, that's different, but to... And again, provided that you have offered the original version as well, I don't think it's a major issue. Just again, don't do a George Lucas. If you're gonna dick about and give a special edition version, you know, do offer the original as well. Like Castro.
That would be my only criticism so far of this is it's 2150, but everything looks like the 1960s still. So
yeah,
I mean the Daleks took 200 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the explanation is the fact that it's a war-ripped place, so we don't know. They've been bombed back to the Stone Age. I mean, again, I wish they'd had something a little bit better than the big band music that they got. It's okay. He literally bricked himself.
But he got that last spin of a wheel in, so...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But again, this is all on the Shepperton backlot. None of this was shot... I mean, I don't believe any of this was shot... maybe one or two location shots, but... Like, I get why there's so many ways holding it up, because looking at it, it looks like it's about 4 foot across, maybe more, and it's probably fiberglass. fiberglass, steel, and concrete.
Maybe it's the full-size one that was on the floor in the set, you see? It's that good.
Just picked up on a crane, like.
Yeah, 4 helicopters.
It isn't a bad-looking model, in fairness to it. I'm not... Like, I do prefer the traditional UFO-type Dalek spaceships. Some chickens were almost harmed in the making of this film. But I think what I like with that spaceship is that, yeah, it's still sort of sticking to the flying saucer-y type design, but it does clearly have a front and a back.
It's kind of like a cross between a flying saucer and a 57 Chevy. It's good.
It's got some flair to it. It's sort of Millennium Falcon-y sort of Dalek spaceship.
Thunderbird 2.
Yeah.
I mean, this was Thunderbird's era, weren't it? So, I mean, everyone was, I suppose, doing that.
Well, I mean, I dare say it was probably built by the same people. Because it is Shepperton Studio, so it's... I mean, Thunderbirds would have been made across town, but the people responsible for... Oh, that's a little ropey, isn't it? It's not bad. Again, seen much worse.
Well, when you consider the time, this is like 3 years before 2001: A Space Odyssey, when I actually started getting the space shots right and that. That's not bad at all. And considering it's only got, what, 280,000 budget?
I can name quite an expensive film that did have Peter Cushin in it. And that Peter Cushin didn't look cut. and that cost hundreds of millions.
I recognised him from his foul stench.
Yes, exactly. And his friend Carrie looked even bloody worse. Interesting as well that last week we mentioned that this was going to be part of a 3-film series that it was going to be the Doctor Who and the Daleks, Daleks Invasion of Earth, 2150 AD, and there was going to be another one. And the third one was apparently going to be The Chase, which I'm glad they didn't make. I mean, it would have been interesting, but I think I really do like The Chase as its own thing anyway.
Apparently, Sugar Puffs sponsored this film.
Yes,
that's why there's a product placement. Signs can be seen at various points in the film. In exchange for its funding, the company was also allowed to run a competition on its cereal packet to win a Dalek film prop and feature the Daleks in its TV adverts. So there you go.
It's not a bad-looking model. Boy, then, yeah. Look, you see. There we go. I'm just curious as to who's doing the model effects on this. So, yeah. Oh. So, writing credits go to Terry Nation, Milton Stabowski, David Whittaker, and Sidney Newman. Directed by Gordon Fleming, as always.
Did you know this film was released in 1977 by Walton Sound and Film Services as a Super 8?
Really?
That's what it says on my home media list on the Wikipedia page.
It's a Super 8. Bloody hell. That must have been grainy as hell.
Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
The art department: Bill Walton, William Alexander, Richard Harrison, Christina Withrick. Draftsman. Special effects by Ted Samuels. Visual effects by Gerard Lan. He was the matte painter, uncredited.
Why aren't you at your work, Peter? Just arrived, haven't you?
So I'm guessing that there's divided up between.
Have you just escaped out of that spaceship and just...
So the construction manager, draftsman. I would guess it's the visual effects were done spread across Bill Waldron, who was the construction manager, Ted Samuels, and Gerald Lan. It's not a bloody big crew, you know. I've got to be honest, it's not a big crew on this film as it is. It's just really not. When you consider that, you know, if you were to look at a Marvel movie, you know, I know we use different standards, like, but a Marvel movie will have anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 people working on it. This, maybe 60? And again, I think that's why, you know, modern movies cost too much, is because they've forgotten it's about the storytelling and not about how flashy you can make it. Don't get me wrong, some movies look great. Some of them do look really, really great, but I think it's going to come a point whereby studios are just going to start, you know, aiming to make lower budget films.
I don't know. I've got a feeling the video game and movie market are going to blend, and you'll be playing films in the future. Most modern games now are like playable movies.
Look, there's already, if you go on to Netflix now and look for Black Mirror, there is a multiplayer Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
So you can actually choose how the episode goes along.
I'll stick to my arcade games on my main cabinet, mate. Much more fun.
No, these characters here, I think they work okay, but I do think these characters here work a little bit better in the Hartnell serial. I think it's because in the Hartnell one is spread over multiple episodes, so you have a bit more time to sort of take these characters in. Whereas this happens pretty quick.
Roberta Toby is actually a very convincing child actress, isn't she?
She does a good job. She's not all about, how can I put it, but she's not one of those people that had to sell like Milky Bars or something. She doesn't finish every sentence by going,
yeah, like the pink windmill kids that smile at the camera.
yeah, she's not that. She is pretty good, pretty solid. And again, I'm glad that she is actually doing the Doctor Who convention circuit as well. So that's it would be nice if she actually got a small part in, you know, in one of the new ones. That would be nice. It's not like people are going to recognize her.
Especially if they write it in someone playing Susan.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, it would. Carol Ann Ford didn't want to do it. There's a perfect older Susan there, because I mean she's probably got to be what, 7 or 8 years younger than Carol Ann Ford?
Oh no, probably. I would say about 15. Yeah, probably the worst matte painting in the film. But again, it's not horrific. And this is going to be like the fifth
If you'd have watched that match shot on grainy Super 8, it would have looked perfect. But we're watching it DVD. Well, you're watching it Blu-ray quality, so
yeah, you've got it. That's why again I'm always give and take with films like this, is the fact that because it was never meant to be seen this way. I mean, it was meant to be seen on the cinema screen, yes, but not even back then. Cinema screens weren't. You know, you got different lenses on projectors, and yeah, you weren't gonna get to see it in the quality that it's at now. This has been washed, printed, and gone back to the original negatives. I'm not sure if I like that wig that he's wearing there. I think it's different to the one he was wearing in the last one, because you could see his ears in the last one, and this one's a bit more sheltering his face. Yeah, it is a different costume that he was wearing, because he didn't have those trousers last time. He had different ones. So and the jacket's a little different as well.
I've just looked for completionist, and Carol Ann Ford is actually 13 years older than Roberta Tovey.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be somewhere in that park, in that area.
So I didn't realise she was in her early 20s when she made it. She looked a lot younger in the original serials.
Yeah, no, I knew. Yeah, she had to be older because of the working laws for kids. So she had to be older so that she could work the late hours. Because with kids, they're only allowed to work. I think they're allowed to work 6 hours a day. I mean, you can imagine on a production like on this, it's not too bad because they can actually get like sort of special permission and that from schools and things like that and they can do it over holidays and things like that. Like, you know. I bet it. I tell you what, that law. I bet it made it bloody impossible for them to make Grange Hill. I bet that was a bitch of a show to do.
Yeah. Because they were kids on that one.
Oh, yes. No, then.
There was an actress that lived down my road when I was a teenager that was in Granger. A couple of years younger than me. I knew her.
Yeah. Oh, hell. Where are we looking you? Robin Burns, Michael Craig, David Graham done the voice of the Daleks. Peter Hawkins also done the voice of the Daleks. Plenty of people listed as person who dies.
Man with carrier bag still does me.
That's a great one. That is a great one. Man on bicycle, man with carrier bag.
I wonder if that's on the poor boy's gravestone. Bernard Spear was an English actor. He's got on Wikipedia. On his gravestone, here lies Bernard Spear, man with carrier bag.
Yeah. See, those two characters in the original serial, it spread across. I think it spread across sort of like the end of one episode, through one episode, and then at the start of another episode, that it turns out that they betrayed them. And I just think that's got a bit more clout than what they did here. Whereas, like, oh, you know, they've given them Superman, They portraying him. Yeah, I think you're right though with the whole. There should be some future tech somewhere in this. It's a little bit. Yeah, that's we probably saved from severe burns. I met grabbing a steel can that's on a fire with bare skin. Oh, this shed's bigger on the inside. Yeah, some of the costumes for this, like for Broccoli, there now, you can tell what sort of character he is just off his costume. You know, he's this. Everybody else is sort of down dressed, even the sort of casual smarts, but he's very much this business manager type looking guy, and he's in this very clean outfit, and it's like this guy's he's like a bad sort of Arthur Daly. Love that grin.
That don't look bad in that shot, though.
Pardon?
But that match shot looked pretty good there on the DVD anyway. It did.
Yeah. Well, you got a mix of match shots and models, and they're good at mixing their techniques because they didn't rely on one. These days it would be CG. It would just be that's a CG shot. Following that must have been a tricky shot because they followed a Dalek uphill. Well, it's probably the first time we actually.
Probably a tricky drive as well.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it being in that dark doing that. I wouldn't go. There's no safety barrier there. And again, this is all done in one shot as well. It's a shame, right? Because this cameraman's a bit jittery, but these cameras weighed a ton. Again, all
I think they use the Steadicam.
So, yeah. Yeah, Philip Maddock, who played Broccoli. Now, his last film was a short called Hawk. That was 2011. Dated in 2012. Never. He was an E-plus. I mean, he's a Welsh actor, but I mean, I didn't even know he was in that. No. There's a so the music that they've got here. If you listen to the underscore, the cello, when it goes, here it is. Yeah, it's Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Dun, 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 dun. It is.
I don't know what you've ruined more, that song or the film. The film.
But it is definitely the Seven Nation Army.
Now, did he copy it, or is it natural chord progression? There you want to think about.
It's plagiarism. Clearly, they were Peter Cushin Doctor Who fan. See, they go in Die Hard again. Got to climb out a shaft.
Got to have a shaft in a Dalek story, mate.
Yeah. How to drop a bomb down the shaft. When you want to plunge to their death. I wish they'd handled this scene a little bit as well as they have. I wish they'd sort of made it a little bit darker and just let more of the light from the windows light it. Easy but to die. It's a lot of Daleks just for. Bloody hell.
Never cut a deal with a Dalek.
Again,
where's everyone going to get their contraband backy from now?
Exactly. But I mean, like for what this is, like there's a lot that they've put into this film that really you only get to see very little of. Like the entrance to the mine, you've seen literally a 3-second shot of it. And again, they're building multi-story sets. It's not like this is much more multi-dimensional in the fact that you've got these much taller sets than we had on the original. I'm sorry, I wouldn't be in that Dalek. I phone in sick. There's no way in hell I go down there. It seems okay, but there's no crash barrier. Like you've really got to be a good Dalek driver to be confident that you're not going to go over the side.
Yeah, I wouldn't fancy that either. I think there'd be probably some kind of poo escape.
Yeah.
That's a bit high up for one of them.
And again, it's not a bad set. It's but again, it is. It's quite a complex set. In fact, it's.
I mean, I know there's a lot you can achieve with paint and that. I mean, you know that as well as anyone. But it looks like there's an awful lot of machined metal parts on this set.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, because it's a multi-story set, you're going to get. I would then say those RSJs there on the side are probably practical. They are probably holding up, the next part of the set. Because you come in 6 foot off the stage floor to your first level, then you come in another 7 foot on top of that, then another 7 foot on top of that. So they probably are. The metal work on this is probably actually is structural. They've just found a way to incorporate it into the set. I'll explain later. I mean, some of these sets as well are also practical reuses of the older sets that they've finished with and they've just repainted. There's an interesting effect that they've got there as well. That white sort of bar where it's got that ripple effect. It's quite effective. It's a long way down.
Something I haven't covered. I know your weakness.
You hate the birdie song. Again, they're good-looking Daleks. They Yeah, see, it's a good multi-story set, but again, you've got down that shaft as well, which is probably not that deep. It probably doesn't even go down over 7 foot, but you are talking, you 21 foot set. Leg it. Yeah, it took a while to find that. There we go. It's a nice use of the set here. I'm guessing it's a leftover from another show. Plunged into the plunger. Yeah, that's where you want some rails on the go.
Oh, you gotta have your rails.
Yeah, that's a reused prop as well. That pops up in quite a few sci-fis. I like the fact that they've coordinated the gold Dalek with yellow lights. And the one with the blue ball's got the blue lights on. Countdown or count up. I'm pretty sure that bomb prop is from something else as well.
Yeah, it looks like it could have been some sort of aquatic vehicle, doesn't it? Like a Bell submarine or something.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's definitely. I would have thought that this was probably a prop that they probably had in store that they've reused. Nice little model matchup. Again, good model work in this. Oh yes. Everybody out.
Defeated by a ground sheet.
God. It's, you can see what they were thinking, but they haven't taken into account how fearsome these creatures are supposed to be. He left shoes in the middle. Shame you saw the casters there.
What a way to destroy your props, though.
Terrible Dalek model there, then. Absolutely terrible.
Go admit, though, that was a bloody good shot from the top level to get it down that hole.
Oh, yeah. That's a difficult shot to do. To do the lift off like that with those flames burning, because that thing's got a gas cylinder on board. And it's very difficult to do it because you're likely to set fire to the set. Another model shot. Not a bad model shot either. That was not so convincing, but yeah, it's not awful. I'm guessing that's about 172 scales.
Yeah, top of that mind structure was a brilliant little model.
Yeah. The flames like that, I don't know, because the scale of the flames is what really sort of ruined that. Same as that shot there. Those flames, you can kind of see how big that model is now with that fire.
Yeah, it suffers from the Thunderbirds effect, I think we'll call it.
Well, what they could have done to actually to make those flames work is they could have just put a fan on it. If you blow flames with a fan, it produces smaller sort of wisps, and you end up with more in scale flame. Fire is always tricky though. Same as water. Back to the TARDIS.
Oh, yes, yes, maybe my wife took it to the boss.
It's not, again, it's not a bad looking interior of the TARDIS. Okay, it's still better than the Whittaker version. Because at least this has the excuse of, well, he invented it. There it is. It's a good looking police box. I don't think I've mentioned that before.
No, you really should have said something.
2 films now, you thought I would have mentioned it. Yeah. Start and finish with a bang.
Inspector Tom Berry. OBE. Thank you, lads.
Yep. Or as I like to call it, Bernard Cribbins OBE. British Lion Films Limited, produced at Shepperton Studios, Shepperton, Middlesex, England, and that's your end credits. There we go. The end. I don't know what to make of this music. I'm not sure if I really like the music. It is very Irwin Allen.
I'm waiting to see Man with Plastic Bag.
Well, every that's
Man with Carrier Bag.
Yeah. Man with carrier bag, burning spear. Young woman, old woman, Craddock, robber, leader, Dalek operator. And that's everybody that worked on it, apparently, because apparently they didn't have any cast or crew. It's amazing. They would never allow that today. Everybody would have to have their name up on the screen. So, yes, exit that. There you go. So,
We got someone pop up in the YouTube chat room. Hello, Jeff.
Jeff vlogs. Hello. So yeah, you know that you've just finished watching Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 AD, and you said you haven't seen it for a while. What's your first impression of that film?
It's like Doctor Who from a parallel dimension.
It's quite good for what it is for the Doctor Who film. It's not bad, is it? It's okay. So yeah, haven't seen that in years. Better than I remember. It is, yeah. So what do you think, Chris?
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed that. It's I suppose you could call it a good romp. They stuck to the original story fairly well. But they kept the Doctor and Susan characters the same as the previous filming character.
Yeah.
I think Peter Cushin was a little bit less doddery in this one.
Yes. He was definitely a bit more. He was definitely a bit more doctorish in this. And
yeah, definitely.
Know that he was dealing with the dark, because in the early he was a bit more scatterbrained, whereby he couldn't remember where things were or what things were, and he had this whole bit of that's no problem. I'll replace it with some fluid from my laboratory. Oh dear, it was a bit of that. Whereas with this one, he's much more. His faculties and his marvels are a bit more together. I think you can see why I prefer it to the other one. It's definitely a better paced film. Again, I do actually prefer that to the Hartnell one as well, for that reason. I think the Hartnell one, story-wise, works better, but pace-wise, it's got a bit of clout to it. The things that are wrong with the film, the score, the big band score has to be one of those things that's really dated the film. Watching it as a 10-year-old, say I would have been very impressed with the colour and the bigness of it all. Oh, absolutely. I mean, for £286,000 film, I'm impressed by it anyway. Even by today's standards, there's no getting around. Again, it's 286,000. That's 4 million, I guess, in today's money. It's a £4 million film, all in studio. It was either shot inside the studio or on the back lot. It didn't leave Shepperton at all. And again, that's why I don't understand how they make films these days, and they've got to go. When they make a film these days, they've got to travel the world to make a movie, and it's like I don't get it. There are certain things I do understand. But you send a B crew. You don't have to go to Egypt to make a movie. You can just have it in Shepperton. It obviously depends on the scale and what it is that you're doing, but how much did Day of the Doctor cost? I think Day of the Doctor was about 3 mil. I think. I will check. Let's go back. Oh no, let's do it on this actually, because I want to keep that tab open. Hey. Oh no, there's no G in of. Day of the Doctor, let's look, yeah. Day of the Doctor, IMDb. Come on, give me something. Are you gonna show me anything? There's no budget. I mean, it depends on. But again, they would have. I tell you what would probably happen was that they probably included the budget into the series, so it was probably merged with the line budget for the show. Dr. Gross, yeah. Well, it grossed 10.2 million worldwide on the Saturday, because it was only shown on one day. Wow, it brought in 4.7 million in 650 sites. That's not bad at all. Yeah, and by the looks of it, the line produced the film 50th anniversary with the rest of the series. So it's probably budgeted. They probably budgeted the series at about 16 million, and then saved money where they could, and then just took the budget out of that. So yeah. Yeah, because you're probably that's what you normally would do, because as again it was done. It might have been released as a TV movie, but it was done as an episode, so it's because it's just like an extended episode of Doctor Who, so it would have been budgeted that way. I'm guessing what they did was they probably double banked a few episodes, and I would have said because Name of the Doctor was probably that's pretty much a bottle episode, because if you think about it, they don't really go anywhere other than inside the TARDIS, and they actually they redress the TARDIS sets. So there's not really that much in the way of external expenditure for Name of the Doctor. All the other stuff that they shot then, such as Time of the Doctor, not Time of the Doctor, Night of the Doctor. What else did they do? The Last Day in the trenches. All those little things that they've done were shot on very small sets and shot in about 8 hours. So they were really quick, really small things. So yeah, that's probably the most expensive though the show ever got. I think after that, the show never hit that budget. I know Matt Smith's was the most expensive show to make. They don't spend anywhere near that amount that they do now. It's 10 million, I think, that they spend on Doctor Who now for 10 episodes. It comes after they paid for like all the actors and everything. It comes in at about $855,000 an episode. So it's about $1 million an episode.
About 200,000 of that an episode is to spend on all the crunches to build the inside of the TARDIS.
Oh God! Well, most of that were on packs of custard creams. But I mean, you're looking at by comparison, like Day of the Doctor was probably more expensive than this. Comparatively speaking, it kind of shows because they were able to do a lot of location stuff in Day of the Doctor. But overall, though, this film done a real good job in using the locations that it had, for the backlots and things like that. And it's not only that you're dealing with backlots; it's the fact that you're dealing with Daleks, which means that you have to make sure that wherever you film is suitable for these things to run around on. You've got to take those considerations in when you're making something like this. If it was today, it wouldn't be a problem because you can always just put one in post. Whereas back then you couldn't do it. And again, when we were watching the opening titles, that first opening title shot with that swirling smoke, not a sodding clue how they did that. Best guess is that somebody with a cigar knew how to blow smoke rings. That's my best guess. There are, and it's good when you don't know. You've got to remember, you've got to take CGI out of the equation. In fact, I tell you what, not even going to take CGI out of the equation here. You've got to take blue screen out of the equation here, because the thing that they had back then, 1966, was sulfur screen. So that they had color separation overlay on sulfur screen. They didn't have blue screen. They chemically removed the layer of film. That's how they did it. A film is made up of 3 layers: the R, the G, and the B. And the B is on the top. And how they would do it is that they would treat it with a chemical that would literally remove that layer of film. So you're only left with 2 layers. And then that's how you would do it. And then you reprocess it, and you'd be physically damaging the film to produce effects. In this, they didn't even have that. They had sulfur screen color separation overlay, and again, it goes back to what we were saying last week about how, when it came to the effect shots, they had 4 visual effect shots in the last one. This one, we saw some of the model effect shots. Some of them worked pretty well. And I was surprised. Like the model, I think that worked really effectively was the model going down the shaft. That thing going down the shaft. Look, if you remember the fact that it didn't quite match the set, you would have never known. So, I mean, there were some dodgy ones. The Dalek models were ropey as hell.
I enjoyed all the effects of the Dalek ship. I mean, all right, I know there was a couple of bits where you could see the wires, but you could see the wires on Thunderbirds, and it's just, it's not real, so you suspend disbelief, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, nitpicking here again. As you said earlier, this was never meant to be seen on a high definition television set, on a high definition quality Blu-ray that's been digitally restored and physically restored as well. So this is the best version of this that you're going to see. You can tell that the grain has been treated on the film as well due to the wash process. So it's as clean as you're ever going to get it. And you were right. When they did a Super 8 version of it, you'd have never seen it. You'd have never seen it in a million years. So there's Sorry, I'm just having a quick look here to see if I can get a picture. Let's have a look. Oh, no. Daleks Invasion 250 AD. Images. Yeah, interesting as well. The prop that they had for the robo gun as well. It was kind of like I don't know. It was kind of like a bubble gun. The ones that they use it for blowing bubbles, giant bubbles at events. I don't actually know what it was.
I suppose if I was going to pick a hole in something, the side of the Robo Men's crash helmets did look like Fisher Price walkie-talkies. But they were must have been just cheap motorcycle helmets with the visor guard removed and just stuck on the side. The costumes weren't the best. I mean, if I open up new image in new tab. So let's come on to here. Oh, what have I done? Why have I done it? Oh, screen share. There we go. So there's the Roboman outfit. So they are just motorcycle helmets. I've got a feeling those are the same helmets because this. Bear in mind that this is Shepperton. So other films that were later made at Shepperton probably reused a lot of this stuff. And I've got a feeling those are the helmets that had probably ended up the same style, at least, that probably ended up being used to make Stormtrooper helmets for Star Wars. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. Yeah, you could be right.
Well, it's the same studio. I mean, it's and they would have had a lot of these in the store because they would have just separated down the eyes there and built across. They would have built the front face mask for it. They would have built the backup for it, and then because they used these a lot during the 60s and the 70s, and they probably again say they probably had a good supply of them. So yeah, these were probably getting reused, probably in later shows as well. In other things like New Avengers and things like that, they were probably used a lot on. But yeah, the costume is very Pet Shop Boys. Look at it. God. Take those helmets off and they can be led by Terrence Stamp.
You notice that they are actually going west as well in that picture.
Yes, they are. Very nice. So look, because there was another picture I wanted to look at. Just see if I can find. Because then what I'm trying to find is one of the model shots. Ooh, this is gonna be deadly. I'm going to try. Apparently I'm not. I'm not going to try anything.
Don't do that then.
It's my internet connections. It's giving me hell. Right, if I go to here, what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to go back to the film itself. I don't know. See, Amazon has this weird way of working. I think it works better than Netflix though, because in terms of the fact that you can click on something, go or watch it, and then it'll say, "Oh, do you want to resume from your, or do you want to start from the beginning?" Whereas most of the time, Netflix, you click on it, and if you haven't finished watching it, it'll normally start. There we go. From the beginning, it done a really weird one with one series. I'm trying to think what series it was that I was watching on Netflix, and instead of starting me at episode 1 of series 1, I clicked on it because I wanted to watch it. And it started me like at the start of series 4 because that was the latest series. So instead of starting me at the start of series 1 episode 1, he started me at series 1 episode 4. I was getting halfway through the show and I was like, I just don't know what the hell's going on. I like the writing, but I don't understand any of it. Whereby are we looking? So if I go to here, I'm going to do this. This will be opening another window, isn't it? Yeah. If we go here, application, yes, share, bang, hey. There we go. That's quite an effective shot. I thought that was quite a for a model shot. And again, done on that scale, I thought that was quite effective. That was quite a decent shot.
I'll be honest with you. When I was watching that, I was thinking to myself, how have they done that matte shot? And it weren't until it hit it I realised that the mine factory part was actually a model. I mean, all right, I'm only watching on DVD, but the picture wasn't that bad. So yeah, it's quite an effective shot.
Yeah, no, it works really, really well. Let me just go in here. Where are we looking? Because let's go back a little bit further. So whereby is the? Because this is the bit where all the darks are. But no, the good thing is that they don't linger on these shots. So when we are seeing some of these bad Dalek shots, it doesn't linger. Like there's some really quite good ones here as well. So let's go a little bit further. Yeah, defeating the Dalek with a tarpaulin is not the.
You've been tented. You've been tented, son.
I mean, seriously, come on. They weren't think that is the worst shot in the film. Just because, look at that. That's quite cool. You know, there's a nice shot coming up right now. You know, of these Daleks going out of control. There's one where the Dalek just crumples. Yeah, look at that. Just totally collapses in on itself. Wonderfully done. Yeah, dodgy as hell. I wonder if I could slow. No. Yeah.
That's a great shot.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder how many takes that was. Yeah. See that one there? Again, they don't linger on it, which is good. But, yeah, didn't catch it. Boom. Ah. Like, literally there. Boom. Are you gonna get it? Yeah. I know they don't stick with it, and I'm glad that they don't stick with it. And you can see like how it's. You can see what they were going for. You can see what it's meant to be. But given that they had full-size ones, I think they could have done a bit of a better job. But again, they don't linger on it, which is good. But that is a very ropey-looking Dalek. But yeah, some of these shots are really not bad at all. Again, it's the scale fire that gives it away. Like this sure that kind of tells you how big this set is. I think maybe they could have done a bit of a, if they'd overcranked the camera a little more. You'd have ended up with this. It wouldn't have been so visible. Let's not that. Of course, the problem with overcranking the camera like that is that you've got to open up particularly on the older ones, you've got to open up the iris a bit more, and you've got to let a bit more light in. So you've really got to know. You've really got to know what you're doing to. Where's my chat gone? There we go. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, it's not a bad looking film, is it? Well, no, you muted yourself. Okay. just be sure covering myself with a blanket. Yeah, it's not a bad looking film for 1966. One of the films come out that year. The Adam West Batman movie came out. So yeah, From Russia with Love was out, I think.
I'm not sure. I know 2 years later you've got, the first Planet of the Apes film, which is, well, to me, a legendary movie.
So you've got Alfie with Michael Caine. Let's have a look. So a proper look. What came off it? Alfie and Michael Caine, A Man for All Seasons, Batman, Fantastic Voyage. That's That's a good comparison. Fantastic Voyage or Doctor Who. I think Doctor Who done it better. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? The Professionals. Blow Up. The Russians are coming. Fahrenheit 451. The Sand Pebbles. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Oof. Okay. That's a standout.
That is a film, mate.
Isn't it? I was going to say he's doing pretty well so far. And then I was just like, oh, that's a knockdown punch in the gut, that isn't it? So like, yeah. How to Steal a Million? A Funny Thing Happened. On the Way to the Forum. Plenty of war films in this. The Blue Max. Persona. I actually haven't heard of that. Persona. It looks interesting though. So we get Grand Prix. Django. The Bible in the beginning. Oh dear. There's a film I want to mention soon. So there's Arabesque, The Silencers, Masculine, Feminine. There's a film right here. I'm guessing it's pronounced cartoon. I'm just gonna say you couldn't make it today. You just couldn't, because not one of those people are Arabic. They're very much in blackface.
That's all right. These days, Hollywood have just painted them all white. There's been a big complaint of recent years, isn't it?
Yeah. Now then, other films that would have been sort of on the same sort of level as Doctor Who are very much. You can kind of see the budget of these films and where they're coming from. Another standout film from 1966, though. Million Years BC with Raquel Welch. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
God, that woman is still looking good. War and Peace. The Chase. Harper. Dracula, Prince of Darkness. So, yeah. Oh, good grief. Carry On Screaming. Again, that would have been being a Carry On film. You can see the budget on that as well. The budget on Carry On Screaming must have been like 2 sandwiches and a packet of crisps.
Not a fan of Carry On films, then?
I love them. No, I love them.
Yeah, so why?
They're brilliant films, but they are the cheapest of cheap films to make. They're all shot in Pinewood. Not once did they ever. Even the one where they went to Spain was all shot in Pinewood. So the scene when they're outside supposed to be outside by the pool and they're all in it. It was actually shot in like October, and they were all outside Pinewood Studios in their swimming gear. I wouldn't have been a fan of doing that.
No.
So yeah, Georgia Girl, The Grande Vadruli, The Shooting. Guess what happens in that?
I'd just like to say to Rezovsky in the Facebook, the YouTube chat, hoody ho.
So yeah, Fine Madness, The Properties Condemned, The Wild Angels, The Group, The Night of the Grizzly, and Mossy. Do you know, there's like 3 major standout films from 1966 that I can honestly say would have given Doctor Who like real. I mean, The Chase is Marlon Brando, so you know that was going to be War and Peace. Okay. But really, the big standout film from that year is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, yeah.
But without question, there's Fantastic Voyage is obviously, it's a cult classic, as is A Million Years BC. So is Batman. But that's what it is, isn't it? It's a year of cult classics. I mean, Alfie's a memorable film, but it's it's the sort of I guess the start of Michael Caine's career. But yeah, I mean, in terms of how, I mean, the film must have made, Doctor Who must have made money in some way, probably not enough, but I mean, given that the trailer for the 2150 AD didn't actually have Daleks in it, or the TARDIS, or the Doctor, it's kind of difficult to sell. I think that's definitely a failure on the marketing department there. When your trailer for the movie doesn't actually have anything about the movie in it. Yes. Hello, campers, Mr. Burke. Yeah. So, I mean, what are your overall thoughts on the film? Given do you remember the Hartnell version?
Yeah, I remember the Hartnell version. Yeah, it follows all the basic plot points. It's big, it's colourful. I like the effect shots. All right, they're not multi-million-pound effect shots, but they're better than television effect shots of the era.
Let me put the effect shots into context for you. Okay, if people want to piss on those effects, just remember how difficult it was to accept Henry Cavill without a moustache. I'm just saying, right? If
I've only seen pictures of that. I refuse to watch the newer Superman films because they've got the wrong fucking music.
Actually, the Superman, the John Williams score does actually appear in Justice League.
I've got the Justice League because I've been watching the animated series. I've got that to watch. I've just got to bring myself to do it. Yeah, no,
it does make an appearance, the Williams score, and does the Michael Keaton Batman score as well. So it does do it. But it's still nice. They're not good. They're not good films. And again, based on what we just watched, they're not good films.
Overall, yeah, I really enjoyed seeing that again. There's little bits of it I remembered as it went along. I don't think there was any particular bad acting or anything that stood out like that. I know there's a little bit of slapstick from Bernard Cribbins, but going on last week, he's more believable in his slapstick than Roy Castle was. But Roy Castle was better at pratfall.
My problems with what Roy Castle did probably didn't even stem from Roy Castle. It was probably from the fact that the director probably kept Gordon Fleming was probably going, keep doing it. And of course you're talking about a 6-week shoot. So if you do something on, say, Monday, and then you shoot in all different other scenes in between, and then it's a week since you've done that scene last, so you think, oh, everything's fine. But what you're forgetting is that this piece of film is being cut with that piece of film, and then when you put them back to back, you've just done something silly in that bit, and now you're doing something silly in this bit, and it's really difficult to keep track of, which means that it is on the director to kind of go, stop, you've done that, you've ticked that off enough times, step it down a bit. Whereas Bernard Cribbins in this, I feel like he's probably got more experience doing films than Roy Castle did. But I mean, Roy Castle, I can't really take anything away from him because he is a great performer. But again, Bernard Cribbins is just the man. He is just the man. Good old Bernie, damn right.
Definitely, good old Bernie.
Yeah, I mean, again, he had done everything. Even at this point, he had played boxers, he had played builders, he had played wimps, he had played campers, he played a broad spectrum of people, soldiers, policemen, all that stuff. He gets to play a policeman in this, which again goes back to what I was saying about my previous theory, whereby this is just the alternate universe, and he is still Wilfred Mott. It's just Mott became a soldier. This guy became a policeman. Same guy. That's my theory, and I think it works. I do like the TARDIS interior in this by comparison to the other one. I think the other one works on it's just been cobbled together, whereas this one it's been cobbled together, but now he's refined it a little bit, so it still fits into that niche.
Well, yeah, it looks like he's got all these electrical noodlings that were spread all over the ceiling last time, and he's put them in, effectively. He's put them in PC cases and tidied it up. Yeah,
well, that's what he's done. Is that he has in fact that he's just done a bit more work on it, but that's how it should go. So yeah, gotta admit, I've not watched much Doctor Who since David Tennant was the Doctor. But I hear the new Doctor is now a woman. The Doctor is very much a woman, yes. What next? I want like a ginger transgender Doctor. Right. So my thoughts. We've talked about this when we done the Woman Who Fell to Earth. I don't mind Jodie as the Doctor. I have no problems with Jodie as the Doctor at all. The feelings come from lackluster writing for the series, because had they stepped it up right the way throughout the series, we wouldn't. It wouldn't even be a question. It wouldn't be a part of the conversation. So I have no problems with that. I think you're missing out. If you haven't watched Doctor Who since David Tennant, I mean, when we done the Matt Smith one as well, Matt Smith is so underrated. Not so much underrated, overlooked as a Doctor, because his series run was absolutely the bollocks. And the more times I watch it, I think it was that I was getting over David Tennant because I really enjoyed David Tennant as the Doctor. But when it came to Matt Smith, I kind of looked past him, and I really shouldn't have. And I've gone back and watched Matt Smith probably more times than I've watched David Tennant now, and I think I enjoy him more. So I think David Tennant.
The bow tie scene that you pointed out at the end of his first episode.
Mm-hmm.
He really did become the Doctor, and yeah, if you haven't watched Matt Smith, you are missing out, because a lot of people overlooked him because of how young he was.
Yeah,
and he doesn't act like a young man in it. He acts like the Doctor. There's another way to put it.
So yeah, I feel it's like one of them trendy things, you know, like the Ghostbusters remake. So here's the thing, right? They knew that they were going to be casting a woman as the Doctor before they even brought Chris Chibnall on board. The BBC knew that, because Chris Chibnall was told that he was casting a female Doctor. That's why he cast Jodie, because he'd already worked with her. There wasn't much of an audition process, so it was a BBC policy thing, but they landed okay with Jodie Whittaker. Any failings of the show are not due to her. I know there are people out there that don't like her as the Doctor, but what do you do? I mean, there are people out there that don't like, you know, Chris Eccleston as the Doctor. There are people out there that don't like this is one of my problems with when people say, you know, this person shouldn't be the Doctor, is the fact that is somebody's Doctor. You know, my Doctor is Patrick Troughton. Chris's Doctor is Tom Baker. Somebody out there somewhere is Jodie Whittaker is their Doctor. You know, and it's going to take a while to grow. But I tell you straight, as far as I'm concerned, there are 3 episodes of Jodie Whittaker's run that I absolutely wouldn't be without. And you know, Chris knows what they are. They're Rosa, Demons of the Punjab, and Witchfinders, and they are
to some extent. I would add Resolution to that list as well.
Yeah, I mean, Resolution is one that I keep dropping on all the time. I keep forgetting Resolution. It's an enjoyable episode. Most of them are enjoyable. Most of them fall into this is okay. In terms of Doctor Who, they do fall into the okay category. But I mean, again, if every episode had been an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, we wouldn't be even having this conversation. It wouldn't be a thing. What do you do when you're going to cast a new Doctor? You know, they could have done it a long time ago and had a woman Doctor, and would we be having the conversation now? I don't think we would. It's an issue, and it is an issue, and the problem is that it's an issue because they keep making it an issue, and really there's a lot of things that the fans do that really, it's about time that the fans stop gripping onto things, I think. Not that there's anything wrong with sticking with the fandom, sticking with the show and everything, but there's certain things that they've got to free up on, particularly when it comes to a new regeneration. How do you see it with the regenerations, Chris?
Yeah, it's a strange thing. I mean, you get used to an actor, but it was a very innovative way of changing their leading man back in the day, and it's now a device that means the show can go on. So you know it's going to happen. It's inevitable at some point. It will happen. An actor will move on. They write regeneration into the story.
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted to, was it John Nathan Turner wanted to cast a female lead originally? Yeah,
well, that was the Tom Baker era, yeah, because Tom Baker.
But yeah, no, you get used to it, didn't you? I suppose. I mean, a lot of people didn't like Colin Baker, but Colin Baker is the man himself is quite well thought of now because of the kind of bloke he is.
It's not only that. I mean, if you go back, you look at the Colin Baker run, and you're still talking about people talk about the expense of Doctor Who these days and the show, and it's a cheap budget show. The budget that they got these days is nothing. What they had back then was pittance. They were filming inside TC1. They were filming inside TC3. They were filming, sometimes in the car park, sometimes in wherever they could. And the Baker run of Doctor Who after it came back from its cancellation was really cheap, and it got cheaper when Sylvester McCoy stepped on board. It was ridiculous how little money they were spending more on Blue Peter than they were on Doctor Who. It's shocking how very little in terms of money they were actually investing in the show. I know they wanted to kill it and they found a way, but as far as I'm concerned, Trial of a Time Lord is still the best Doctor Who story arc they've ever done. But by a mile. An 18-episode story arc that results in Ultimate 4, and I don't mind that at all. I mean, yeah, they are separate episodes, but they tie together with the whole trial. Still got one of the best openers to the show. But yeah, it's Colin Baker gets a knack for. And again, when we done Twin Dilemma, I mentioned it, but when he done Twin Dilemma, he was going from being the most hated man on TV to playing the Doctor. I mean, it's a lot for people to get over, particularly back then when typecasting was very much a thing. So these days now, when you're talking about getting past, casting a woman now as the Doctor, the Doctor's a woman. That's the way it is. The Doctor hasn't changed. The Doctor's the same character. A bit too much sonic screwdriver waving for my liking. But it's still very much the Doctor. Can you think of anything that they've done, Chris, that's been different to how they've handled the Doctor?
In what regard? What you mean with Jodie?
Yeah. I mean, can you think of anything that they've done differently? Like, had Jodie's Doctor been played by a man, do you think there's anything script-wise that they would have changed? I mean, I guess Witchfinders is probably the one that sticks out.
Yeah, Witchfinders would have been considerably different because they probably wouldn't have ducked. Or maybe they would have done, depending on how they wrote the script around it. But I mean, obviously, things like shopping for women's clothes and come to daddy, or I mean, mummy, things like that would have been different. But no, on the whole.
So, yeah, but shopping for clothes would have been just shopping for clothes, right?
Yeah.
And that's.
No, I don't think they would have done a great deal different, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they haven't really. I don't think they've written the Doctor any different now that it's a woman.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people that are complaining about agendas and things like that, they're only seeing it because they're looking for it. I was expecting it, and I was surprised there wasn't a lot of feminist values being rammed down the screen at me, and I don't think they did. But the people that are finding it, they're looking for it and taking stuff out of context. I don't think they would have written this series much different if they'd have had a male Doctor.
Look, there are people out there. There's a guy, I'm trying to think of the guy's name, right? But this guy, he actually does videos on YouTube whereby he complains about Doctor Who all the time now that it's a woman. And the problem is that he's never seen the show. He complains about it on a weekly basis, but he openly admits he hasn't watched an episode. And that's how can you make a complaint if you don't know what it is that you're talking about? And
well, I don't like to be rude, but clearly he's a prick.
Look, again, I'll tell you what I want to do, right? Let me just quickly pop onto IMDb for a second, because I'm fairly convinced that this is statistic, right? I haven't actually checked it out yet. So I'm on IMDb now. I'm going to just type in Doctor Who. No, not Doctor Strange. Doctor Who. So yeah, 2005. Let's look at this. I'm just going to scroll down here. Let's go for, what should we go for? Series 6, say. Season 6, right? There's Matt Smith. It's a good era. 8.6 rating. So that's not bad. Okay, 12. Go for. Oh, there is no 12. What am I on about? So, wow. So I'm looking now at series 12. It's most of series 12 on IMDb is coming in around about a 6.4. I think that's fair. 6.4 for most of the show. 6.5. Kablam got 6.5. Jesus. Oh, I can understand that. Kablam, despite all the flaws with Kablam, it's fun. Saranga Conundrum. What's this low? I want to find the lowest rated episode. So 7.1, 6.2, 7.2. Our rankings in the UK. Saranga Conundrum. I think Saranga Conundrum's it. Yeah, that's the. Really? Saranga Conundrum's worse than the Arachnids in the UK? Well, to each their own. So
that's opinions for you.
Yeah. In all fairness, the lead character in Torchwood was a female, so yep. People are moaning about the new Doctor being a woman. Again, I don't think they've written the Doctor any different. They did for Witchfinders, but that was understandable because Witchfinders is set in a couple of hundred years in the past. So when people are interacting with the Doctor as a woman, the dynamic shift is there. But that's a good thing. The Doctor's never done that before, right? I mean, that's a really good thing to have the Doctor do something that has never happened before. But what's great is the fact that they don't draw attention to it. Like I was expecting moments whereby people were gonna, do or say something and treat it that way, and have them actually address it. And Ian's on there now. Hey, hello. But I would say that there's some good things whereby the way I would have tackled it is to have somebody do something sexist towards the doctor, and have the doctor just go, "Oh, sexism? No, I've never experienced that before. Oh no!" And that's kind of how I would have dealt with it. But in this, they kind of don't even touch it. They don't even skate over it really.
They just wrote the Doctor as the Doctor.
Yeah, that's the best way I can say it. And I don't think they would have done anything majorly different. Even if it was a man, even if they had cast somebody else as the Doctor. Even if the worst thing is that the series writing lets itself down on, like I said, episodes like Arachnids in the UK and Saranga Conundrum. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. It has everything to do with writing shit stories. And they're not even. I wouldn't even call them shit, but they are. There's a whiff of poo around them.
Definitely an essence of litter tray going on.
Yeah, but again, it has nothing to do with her being a woman.
No, nothing at all.
No, it has nothing there. So anyway, back to I think we've covered that. Back to talking about the Daleks Invasion Earth, 250 AD. Has there been female Daleks? I would assume Daleks are pretty gender neutral. I think. I don't think there are male Daleks.
They're just Daleks, aren't they?
Yeah. They are just Daleks. I don't think they have a gender because they don't procreate in that way. They create Daleks, as we saw in Genesis of the Daleks. They are created in a lab. So they are asexual and not very good looking asexual creatures either. The Daleks Invasion 250 AD. Again, my biggest problem with the film is that big band music. I think if a bit of a rescore, it would be whatever happens now, Chris. Whatever happens, the next time you watch this film, all you will hear is Seven Nation Army.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It's there. It's in the bass line, man. It just isn't it.
I mean, the music worked in places, but there was a couple of bits in that was supposed to be dramatic, and it sounded like the Ben Hill show just because it was a bit too trumpety. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of din, and it's like, geez, this is not the right tone. Like, and you got to think, like 10 years later, John Williams is scoring Jaws. Right? Yeah. So, and the other thing that I feel, I think, in those circumstances was that when they went on board the Dalek ship, the lighting went very studio. It went very flat tone, and they'd done some really before that when they were doing like the nighttime shooting and all that. And they were single source shooting on the stage. It looked wonderful, but then you get on board the Dalek ship, and everything just goes. It just becomes this really really flat note lighting, and but again, a better set than what they had for the Dalek city in Doctor Who and the Daleks, because that thing was just not a good set. It was an impressive size set. Like I'll give it that. I still handed that Dalek, the Thal forest on the Skaro homeworld, that external set, massive, brilliant, very impressive. This one done it better.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at the last set. When someone says to you, "Oh, they look like pink curtains," they're going to think you're watching a completely different film altogether.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Particularly when you're watching on the internet. Yeah, I mean, there's. You're right. Now there should have been some sort of future tech in London. We should have seen something of, maybe it was due to a budget constraint or whatever, but Yeah, you'd have thought that instead of having a van or something like that, they would have had a van from the 60s. They would have had some sort of like bubble car or something just to zhuzh it up a little bit.
Well, I mean, it looks like when they did the first scene where Bernard Cribbins falls into the TARDIS, that was very of the time. It looked like 1966 because it was. When they come out of the TARDIS again, it looked like 1967, having been bombed 6 months ago. So it didn't, you know, the adverts, the fonts that were used, and that was all very much of the time. So
I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up because I don't think it has actually been addressed actually in any part of sci-fi, whereby I mean, one of the best ones, Back to the Future, when Back to the Future 2, when they go into 2015, you know, the Texaco garage still has the same font. Do you know what I mean? It still has the same the messages. Whereas you'd think, like, you know, new logos, because logos have changed throughout the years, and even Doctor Who is an example of that, whereby, you know, you can look at the first Doctor Who logo and go through the years, and then, you know, we're at the gold, the thin gold one. But it's interesting that they didn't actually come up with a stylistic font for the future for when they've done the maps and things like that, you know, where to fight, given the amount of attention to detail that they went into for building things like the bunkers and the underground stations and all this sort of stuff, and the color palette choices that they made in the film as well for the 1960s was very good. So the fact that they overlooked that, I'm guessing, was probably either it's something that they hadn't considered, or it was they were up against the budget. I mean, I can understand not changing Sugar Puffs because they probably wouldn't let them. It was probably like, you know, no, that we wanted everybody to know what that is. So that I can understand. And the same with Del Monte as well. The people that they were advertising were clear. I think maybe there was a should have been a bit more of a throwaway line in there for when the invasion happened. Because we don't.
Yeah, because obviously it was a while before they arrived. Because I mean, most of the sets at the beginning look like the end of World War II when you see shots of London.
So the street shot that they arrive in is the same set that they leave in. It's exactly the same one. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's exactly the same set. It's just different lighting. Different lighting, different, and redressed. I think it was redressed in a week. If I got it right. Oh,
yeah, all credit to him for that, because it did look like the same thing after a bomber attack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they did a spectacular job. You can't fault Shepperton on that. I'm just going back here. Looking at some of the people that worked on the film. Yes, come on, you can do it. You can. Work your magic.
Have you tried abracadabra?
It's getting there. Do you know what? I genuinely, what I think is actually slowing it down is all the bloody adverts that they put on you. You know, when you load up a page, it loads like a million adverts first. I think that's what's slowing down the entire internet.
Yeah. Don't know, I tend to use Opera on my computer and all my devices because it's got a built-in ad blocker of its own, and it does seem to work.
So again, the art department. Bill Walden, William Alexander, Richard Harrison, Christina Withrick. Not a massive department. Not a massive a team at all. Again, the special effects were the Ted Samuels, visual effects were Gerard Lan. It's such a small film. Like, it is ridiculous that these people... I mean, I'm guessing that there are lots of people here that are unnamed that worked on the film. But we're talking about a studio-bound film that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we're talking about departments here. The music department was Barry Gray, Bill McGuffey. Editing was done by 3 people. You see, that's a difference between older films, particularly studio-bound films, and modern films now, is that most modern editors work with the director, whereas before it was the director now had a choice in how a film was edited. His job was to direct the actors. You know, the cinematographer, he didn't say, "Oh, I want this shot over here and I want that." You know, the cinematographer would have told him, you know, go take a walk, because it's the cinematographer's job to cinematographer, and the editor's job to edit. So that's a big change that's happened in filmmaking. Unless you were a big name like, you know, your Stanley Kubrick, who would have wanted to have done it most of the time. The director would have just been doing that, directing the actors, and that would have been his job. No saying how it was lit, no saying what sets were used, what costumes. They probably worked together. I mean, people probably weren't bastards to each other, but you never know. So some were. I mean,
it's not a massive cast either in the film, is it? And you know, obviously, there's lots of unnamed extras. But when 2 of your characters that are named for actors is man on bike and man with carrier bag, you know it's not a big cast. You know, as comical as that is,
yeah,
they were effectively extras, and you know they've got a credit on the screen, whereas there was a lot more people running about than what scrolled up at the end.
Well, two of the characters in the film were actually stuntmen, and both of them were brothers, Eddie and Joe Powell, and they are named as characters in the film as well. Gerard Block, who works on everything. Yes, I would. Yes, I should. But it's like, yeah, man escaping Dalek. Dalek prisoner, man escaping Dalek mine. Resistance fighter. Yeah, old one, young woman.
I'd rather be billed as a resistance fighter than a man with a carrier bag if I was in a film, I have to be honest.
I didn't even notice him. I didn't even see him. I was looking for him as well. I want to see the man with the carrier bag.
Well, we need one of the old-fashioned dice spy books for Doctor Who and the Daleks Invasion of Earth 2150. Man with carrier bag, 10 points.
Yeah, so you can find him. Jill Curzon, I'm pretty sure he hasn't done a lot. Roger Avon. Again, Philip Maddock. I know Philip Maddock as a Welsh actor. He's done a fair bit on S4C before he passed away. Obviously, they tend not to do a lot after they pass away. Although it's not really stopping Elvis. He's been gone for 40 years. He's still having #1 albums.
Well, they're all back with holograms now, aren't they? All these older singers and that.
Well, they're doing this whole thing now where they pair them with like the London Symphony Orchestra, and then releasing another album. It's like, yeah, it's going to #1. So, what do you do?
I'll tell you what, the best ones I've seen. Sorry to go off topic, but when we talk about holograms, I don't know if you're aware of the late great metal singer Ronnie James Dio. His backing band did a tour with him. I think they used live recordings and his hologram on stage, and they played the songs live and obviously played Ronnie over the top. It was so good. It come up on a feed, and I thought it was Ronnie James Dio. I didn't realise it was a hologram until after the video of that song ended, and I clicked off, and I was like, well, fuck me. It was that good.
I mean, they're doing all sorts of stuff now with actors and that now as well. I mean, we talked jokingly earlier about how badly Peter Cushin looked in Rogue One.
You say that, my eldest son had no idea who Peter Cushin was. He's watched Star Wars. I mean, he's 22, so he's not got the wealth of film experience that we've got.
Yeah.
But he didn't realise that Peter Cushin was CGI to start with. He just thought it was some old bloke in the film. So it looks bad to us, but
yeah, particularly it's the close up. There's too much close up, and the eyes as well. Why they can't? The actor could have used his own eyes, I think, and I think it would have done a lot better. But the Princess Leia one was absolute dog shit.
Yeah, it was.
And again, we're talking. We just been watching this really low budget film, and 286,000. Even back then, in the 1960s, was not a big budget film. Goldfinger cost £3.4 million. That's how much Goldfinger cost in the 60s.
Will that be now about 40 million, something like that? 26, right?
26.7 million. But even then, in today's money. So this is showing you dramatically the difference between making something in studio with a fixed crew that that work together all the time, and the difference between hiring out all the time. The other big difference between that as well is that towards the end of the 1970s, they stopped offering studio contracts and started going independent. So actors, instead of, because what you could do is say, right then, I'm going to hire, say, Clint Eastwood, right? So I'm going to hire Clint Eastwood. I'm going to give him a 3-year contract. So I'm going to give him a 3-year contract. It's going to be $1 million a year. That's $3 million, right? So what's he going to do for that $3 million that you pay Clint Eastwood? What is he going to do? Well, I'm going to have him make 12 films. Are any of those films going to be any good? Well, probably some of them might be pretty good, but some of them might be pretty bad. But it's Clint Eastwood, and he's going to be in all 12 of those films. So they get their money's worth. Now, it's not really great, but at the same time, if you were to do that today and say, I'm going to put Clint Eastwood in 12 films, one, it would take 24 years to make 12 films. And these days as well, it would cost you, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 million a time. That's ridiculous. What sort of person gets paid that amount of money for I mean, it is a sore spot with me. I've got to be honest though. I don't like. It's the same thing with footballers. I don't think they're worth their money either. But I mean, they can make the argument of what they bring to the game is that if they're goal scorers and things like that they've actually got credit for that. Whereas with actors, you can hire another actor. You can always hire another actor. There's thousands out there that don't get a job. So I don't really. To me, why you'd even pay $1 million for an actor? These people are working on these projects at most for 3 months. You're going to pay somebody X amount of million to work on something for 3 months? No.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Also, as a man from Wales, you probably shouldn't bring up football when we're talking about 1966 things that happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy that you would spend so much money. But again, back in the day, it wasn't even a problem. Because this, who was it? I think it was Cary Grant. I think he was getting paid $250,000 a year. But he was making 6 films or 4 or 5 films a year, but he was only getting paid $250,000 a year. All right. He was with one studio for like 7 years. So he made his money, but at the same time, the studio weren't spending a great deal of money on these actors. But they were, first of all, they were Hollywood talent. Second of all, they were under contract. They were probably staying at the studio ranch, so they were probably in the studio, because normally they would be in the studio house. So the studio would actually have this complex that these people would stay in, these houses that they would live in. I mean, there's a joke in Three Amigos about them getting chucked out of their house because the house is owned by the studio. Well, that's how it was. These people, they were getting paid, and 250 grand a year is I don't care what anybody says. Pay me 250 grand a year. I'll make 12 movies. I don't know if I'll be any good, but then.
I'll tell you what, I don't think money solves everything, because I'll tell you now, I would much rather watch a low-budget film like Peter Jackson's Bad Taste over something as badly written as The Last Jedi anytime, because even though it was cheap and tacky and gory, it was actually well written and well shot. And he filmed that. I mean, I think I remember reading or seeing a making of that. To get the muzzle flashed, they actually took the film out and were pushing pins through the film at the end of the guns to get the muzzle flashed on there. That's how cheap they made that. And it's a great film for what it is.
Same as 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but Attack the Block is a cheap budget film that is a lot of fun.
Dog Soldiers was quite a cheap one as well, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Dog Soldiers was another cheap one that was a good film, I believe.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, Lesbian Vampire Killers, that's funny. I like that one. I mean, there are plenty of good low budget independent films that do a great job of it, and I don't get why. Like I can't. I just can't fathom why an actor would get paid more than the guy working the mic. Do you know what I mean? They're all doing this job to make this film, and if you took anybody out of that, like why isn't the guy who operating the camera getting paid $9 million a film? I mean, well, the camera, you've just got an actor.
Well, I mean, when you've got people like I don't know, say Brad Pitt for example, that women and obviously men as well will go to see him because of how he looks. So he's a draw. So they to secure him in the film, they got to offer him a load of money, I suppose.
But the thing is, though, I mean, look, but Brad Pitt came from nowhere, right? Brad Pitt started off as an extra, right? And I got nothing against Brad Pitt whatsoever. I used to, but I got into watching Brad Pitt as an actor from Interview with Vampire. And it was just I had seen pretty much everything that there was on the video shelf, and I had nothing to do. But I watched Interview with a Vampire, and that's where I started really sort of paying attention to him as an actor. But Brad Pitt worked his way up. He worked his way into the industry, right? This guy was still working as an extra. I mean, this guy done the TV show Freddy's Nightmares, right? And it's not good. It's really B-movie stuff. Not even B-movie. B-TV show. It's a horror version of Sesame Street, pretty much. So I have no problems with people who work their way up. What I'm saying is that, like, Roger Deakins, cinematographer, Academy Award winner, shot movies like Blade Runner 2049. That guy can make anything look spectacular. And he can make anything look spectacular with or without an actor being in the scene. So if you put any actor, pick an actor, any actor from anywhere around the world, doesn't matter who they are, what they are, where they are, he can make them look good in a scene. There's no reason why you would hire somebody based on the fact that this person costs $3 million. $3 million for 3 months. Whereas I can find an actor out there that'd be willing to do it for, $3,000 a month. I mean, it's nonsense. It's got out of hand, and that's the truth. It has got out of hand because
you're paying for the name. That's what's happened with films.
But the problem there is, again, it doesn't change the box office. If you have a person, an actor, and you say this person is going to be in this film, you might get more interest in the trailer, but it doesn't really change the box office figure. There's no real, there used to be star power. There isn't anymore. And the internet has changed that. And that dynamic has shifted greatly, because before, that's why they didn't like actors from movies going on TV shows. When actors would go on TV shows, they wanted them on specific things like Parkinson, or so not just talking about the movie, but some actors didn't even like going on those sort of chat shows because they were sort of like devaluing themselves. Marlon Brando was very difficult to get onto a chat show because and there are plenty of other actors out there that still feel that way as well. But they were making themselves a commodity. And that's not how it is now. With the internet has devalued everything. Well, with the industry, because now, like I just started watching Cobra Kai season 2, and Cobra Kai season 2 on YouTube, same as season 1, it's extraordinary. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Okay, they've made it for a little bit more money than most YouTube videos. Let's be honest. A couple of million it was the budget, but it's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic, but it's still classed as a very low by comparison to something like Game of Thrones. It's not even the canteen food, money for the canteen.
Have you ever stumbled across the YouTube channel Dust?
Yes.
That's they have some fantastic sci-fi shorts on there. They really are good, like sci-fi horror. It's all pretty much sci-fi, but for anyone else that doesn't know about it, they cover everything. Dust is called. It's a really good channel.
Yeah, I did know about it because I had to change the first episode of Roscoe Berry because the title of the first episode was going to be Dust. And I changed it because I didn't want it to be confused with that channel. So it's now called Dust to Dust. And
you never know. You might end up putting one on that channel. Who knows?
Well, it's how it goes now. But I mean, there's plenty of work to be done for that first. And I've been caught up working on other things anyway, so I haven't really had time to do it this week. But yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything. Are we missing anything? Yeah, I mean, like we talked about earlier about the character of Louise being the Doctor's niece. She did nothing in this film.
No, she was pretty much this film's Yaz.
Who? Yeah,
that's a running gag. That's a running gag that's going to go for years, mate.
Man, I tell you, it's shocking. Yeah. I mean, Louise is she did nothing in this film. Aside from getting captured, I don't think there was really a point to the character.
I think that's a sign of the times. This something for the dads to look at, anyway. That is pretty much it.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I would assume so. I can't really, I can't think of anything that she contributed to the film. I mean, Susan was more proactive than she was, and all she did was really write a message on the door, which they didn't see.
And it was so neatly written as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very, 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 very. Her calligraphy was amazing. Yeah, I mean, overall, in general, I enjoyed it. I'm a bit sad that it didn't do as well at the box office because I would have enjoyed another one. I think if they'd done a little bit better at the box office and we'd got a third Doctor Who movie with Peter Cushin, I think it would have been good fun. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got to say about Doctor Who, Dark Invasion of Earth 2150 AD. Unless you've got anything else to add, I think we can wrap this up.
No, I think we've pretty much covered it all, mate. I can't think of anything else to add that we haven't already discussed. But I will say that I did enjoy watching it again. It's been a long time, and I agree with you. It's definitely better than the first one.
Yes.
And I really like the model shots. I really like model shots. So
I think because the movie moves along at a pace as well. That I think if you were to go back and watch the TV serial version of the 250, the Dark Invasion of Earth, the Hartnell version, I think you can see whereby even though the story works, I think a little bit better with the Hartnell version, that the pacing works much better it's much more. And I tell you what, before we go, the stunt work in the film was really well done. The stuntmen were having a blast.
Yeah, definitely.
They were stabbing each other, thumping each other, they were falling down things. And again, Eddie's bump through that awning where he broke his ankle. That's a cracking bump. That is an absolute corker. It was reasonably well shot, I thought. A couple of giveaway shots, I think, of the background scenery where you can see it's very two-dimensional. Which could have been cured with a little bit of smoke, literally just a little bit of smoke in the atmosphere to just mask it a little bit. Would have worked wonders. But yeah, it's a good paced movie, and you can understand why it doesn't get raving reviews because of the technical faults with the film, the audio, the score, which is very dated.
Using the word score is probably at its limits of the word score as well.
Well, they hired a big band, didn't they? Let's be honest here. They hired a big band and they just said, play something declamatory. And you there on the trumpet.
Do you know Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes?
Exactly. But I mean, again, if you were to take your brain out of Doctor Who, as a Doctor Who theme, I think the Doctor Who theme from this worked better than the last one. The last Doctor Who theme was very hippie, and this one was a bit more dark. The whole tone of this film was a lot darker, though. It was a lot more sterile, a little bit more pastel.
Yeah, you're right. I think if I was ever going to watch Doctor Who and the Daleks again after watching it last week, I'd expect something like a ready rolled joint or a magic mushroom in the DVD case waiting for me, just for the theme tune.
But I mean, look, they're both enjoyable for what they are. This one is nowhere near as camp, and you don't have the yes, you've got the Pet Shop Boys in this one, but we had the Joel Collins fan club in the last one, so.
Yeah. I think if I could sum up on that, I'd say the first one was very Adam West Batman, and the second one was very Captain Kirk Star Trek. That's how I'd separate them two.
Well, again, that's the way I put it. I very much believe with what they did was they looked at the first one and went, we can make our version of Wizard of Oz, and this one's their version of War of the Worlds. I think that's what they were capitalizing on with, which is understandable from a marketing standpoint, because in the first one she gets whisked away to this new, Susan gets whisked away to this new planet, and in the next one, it's very much this alien invasion forces blitz London instead of being New York and Washington and all that. There's this Dalek ship flying around this blitz London, and I think it's that's exactly what they've done. I think the first one was Wizard of Oz, and this one's War of the Worlds, and yeah, if you can put aside all the things that are wrong with this film, I think there's enough enjoyment in this film to be able to go, you know what, that was a good bit of fun.
And you'd be right, it was a good bit of fun.
Yeah. So we're going to call this quits. Next Sunday, then, it's going to be Doctor Who and the Sea Devils, John Pertwee.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, which is going to be next Sunday at 8 p.m. That ends all the Doctors, really. All the canon and, well, we haven't done the non-canon. We should do Curse of Fatal Death at some point. And
we should do Scream of the Shouker as well.
Yes. Well, that is worthwhile one to do as well. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to do at some point. We have to do Curse of Fatal Death just so we can get all the Doctors, all the Doctors done. But I think we've made a good start now with all the Regenerations and Peter Cushin and Genesis. So I think next week now we're going to do the Sea Devils with John Pertwee. And I'm looking forward to it because it's been a while since I've seen the Sea Devils. So
yeah, same here.
Yeah, and if you've got any recommendations of what we'd like to do, let me know in the comments. If you've got any, because again, it's not about doing the fan favorites. It's about doing good episodes, or any episode of Doctor Who, even the overlooked ones. So, and I'd much rather do an overlooked one than a very popular one. You know, at some point we are going to cover all of the popular ones as well. But it would, you know, I'm happy to do the Mutants or, you know, oh God, I'm trying to think of the Doctor Who title now. You know, Curse of Fenric, that sort of thing. See
Halls of Nimon.
Oh, Curse of Fendel. Yeah, I mean, look, it's possible to do that. Yeah, look, I tell you what, if you want to, we'll do Sea Devils next Sunday, and we'll do Fendel the week after. If you're happy for that, I'm okay for that. But it just means we've got a schedule.
That's all right. I'm quite happy to go with the flow.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think next Sunday 8 p.m. then I shall see you back here, and we shall do Doctor Who and the Sea Devils, and the Sunday after that then we shall do Fendel.
Ideal.
Marvelous. Right then, we're going to leave that there then. You all have a good night. I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly have. I enjoy that film every time I see it. I take it for what it is. Okay. And
I was going to say thank you for having me again.
No problem. Anytime. You're all welcome. Thanks to the guys in the chat. The people that joined us. Obviously, Ian's there now. Burke joined us. We had Jeff's World Vlogs. We had Rizovsky. So yeah, thanks to all the guys. It was Ged Slapstick Media. Okay. So yeah, we had a few people in the chat join us. Thank you very much. Next week, see you next Sunday for more Doctor Who, because every Sunday is Doctor Who Day. Take care.
See you later, fella.